Amaya, Lou too. Can you guys come up with some cost-effective ways for us to promote the AI Toolbox Bootcamp training course?
Good afternoon, OG. Yes, statistically, you stand a better chance of reaching more people if you dance in your video.
No way am I going to get on video and start dancing.
Searching analog archives, retrieving Maxi Collier breakdance footage, 1984, Columbia, Maryland.
Ooh, you guys went way back with that one. Okay, fair enough.
AI Toolbox Bootcamp Training Program. 6 weeks of live online training. Video training library. Templates and custom tools. Begins January 14th, 2024, 3 p.m. Pacific Time.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. Yes, indeed, we are here live today at AI Toolbox Bootcamp Preview number 1. I am Maxi Collier, and I want to thank everyone who is enrolled early for this preview, as well as everyone who's watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and across social media. Today's program is an introduction to AI and automation, while also giving folks an update on some of the advances in AI since we first launched this course last year. I'm going to bring Shatar Safira Collier, my wife and business partner, up to the stage this afternoon. And Shatar, if you want to say a little bit to the folks before we get started.
Yes, I want to say welcome. I know that you are in for a treat. Maxi is always ahead of the curve with the technology, and today is no different. So I'm sitting here rubbing my hands with glee, excited about all of the AI tools and technological advances that you'll hear about today.
Well, so Shatar, let's put it in a context for people. We're coming up on nearly a year since we did the first AI Toolbox Bootcamp, last February 2023. Man, how has AI changed so substantially over this time? And if you guys see me looking over this way, that's because we are concurrently doing a Zoom for another group of folks as well. So I see Catherine in the audience. I see Rose here in the audience. I see Jason here in the audience. So thank you all. We'll be taking questions from you all later on. But right now, we're just going to go ahead and, again, Shatar, let's start with a little recap of about how AI has changed so substantially in just the past year that we've been working on it. What are some things that you've noticed?
Well, a lot of people have heard the buzzwords, right? Chat GPT and the other ones, and they're wondering initially, well, what are these things? So we introduced the tools last year, everything from Chat GPT to Midjourney to some other tools that people can use to create content as well as use them in their businesses. But I want to say things have advanced. It seems like light years over this 1 year. Do you remember ChatGPT? Didn't have generative AI within the platform, but now with some of the newer versions, which you'll hear about, you'll be able to do so many new things. And of course, that big reveal about the marketplace opening, just totally exciting.
So
Completely.
let's take it back, Shatar. Let's go ahead and start with the assumption that we're talking to certain folks who have no idea about what we taught last year, and some people who may not have any idea about AI. So I want to start with a little discussion about kind of the hierarchy that's happening nowadays. Back in the day, they used to talk about something called the digital divide. And the digital divide was the idea that there was a substantial loss of opportunities that existed amongst people who were on the internet versus people who were not on the internet. And so the big push began, let's make digital equipment accessible so everyone could get on the internet. Well, we're kind of in a similar place now with the artificial intelligence, except where it's like a 3-tiered caste system, really 4-tier. There's people who are not on AI at all. There's people who may have heard about it or who have turned away from it, and they're not involving it in any of their work or their home or their business at all. Then there's the groups of people who may have been checking it out as a novelty, may have explored ChatGPT, may have made some images, but haven't quite figured out how to integrate AI into their regular work or their study or their business. But at least they are using AI, and most often the free tools. Then there's a group of researchers academic folks. These are the people who are always using the cutting edge AI tools. It's the open source projects that are coming from Google and Meta and Microsoft. These are the folks who are literally like in the lab studying these tools. Then there's the group of people who understand the value of AI and are willing to pay not just for a general access, but for the premium class of AI tools and services that now exist. So just to give an example of this, many people nowadays are using ChatGPT, the free version, which is model 3.5. But for anyone who's using the paid version of ChatGPT Plus, there's a whole world of opportunities and features and capabilities that exist to you just by using the paid version. So for example, you can do things like attach a PDF and tell ChatGPT to give you a summary of that. You can attach a photo and tell ChatGPT to identify it. So if you're not using ChatGPT at all, then you're missing out on one set of capabilities. If you're using ChatGPT but not the paid version, then you're missing out on a whole world. Now, this hierarchy did not exist just a few months ago. It was only about 6 or 7 months ago that OpenAI, the company that makes ChatGPT, introduced it to the world, the paid version to the world. But in that time, they've rapidly developed the capabilities. But let's go back even further. So the question that I hear all the time is, what exactly is artificial intelligence? Well, Shatar, from our study so far in the past year, what would you say is a layperson's summary of what artificial intelligence is as it exists nowadays?
A lot of people think it might be something that can take their job, right? A lot of people have fear about that. It's a lot of people think it may be like the calculator as far as being able to process information and give a result. So there are many theories about what it can be, but here you'll hear about specifically how it works and what it is.
Yes. So the artificial intelligence, okay, so first of all, many of us were introduced to artificial intelligence in our lives through things like Alexa, through Siri, through the tools that made our lives a little bit easier. But even those were kind of like restricted to certain programming, to certain ideas and certain concepts. Whatever the programmer put in them, that was the limitations of the capabilities. Well, now today, in today's artificial intelligence, as we're looking at it now, it's driven by something called large language models. Large language models, well, actually, let me get Amaya to tell us what large language models are. Amaya is one of our AI bots, and here's a quick little section.
Welcome to the AI Toolbox lesson, Understanding Large Language Models, the Future of AI. Today, we will be discussing one of the most exciting advancements in artificial intelligence, large language models. At their core, large language models are artificial intelligence systems that can understand and produce human language. They use complex algorithms and vast amounts of data to analyze and learn patterns in language, allowing them to generate responses that are increasingly natural and human-like. These models are typically trained on large amounts of text data to learn the statistical patterns and relationships between words, phrases, and sentences. LLMs are capable of performing a wide range of natural language processing tasks, such as language translation, text summarization, sentiment analysis, and conversational agents. Some examples of LLMs include GPT-3, BERT, and T5. These open-source datasets can further be trained for specific purposes with fine-tuning data tools and processes. LLMs can be accessed via websites, automatic programmable interfaces, APIs, as well as local models and data processing systems. These large language models are made up of several key components, including neural networks and language models. These components work together to process and understand the meaning behind words and sentences, allowing the model to generate responses that are contextually relevant and coherent. LLMs have a wide range of applications, from helping us communicate more effectively with computers to improving the accuracy of natural language processing and machine translation. These models are also being used to create virtual assistants and chatbots that can interact with humans in a natural and intuitive way. As large language models continue to develop and improve, the potential for their use in a wide range of industries and applications is immense. From healthcare and finance to education and entertainment, large language models will shape the future of artificial intelligence and transform the way we interact with computers. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you have a better understanding of what large language models are and how they work. As always, stay curious and keep learning.
All right, thank you, Amaya. So Amaya is one of our multiple AI bots that help us in the AI Toolbox Bootcamp. So yes, there's quite a few terms, and we're going to keep this course moving. Everyone who has signed up for the free course will have access to this replay. Every link, every definition, every tool that we talk about, you're going to have available too. And in order to get access to that, if you're watching this on social media, you can visit AIToolboxBootcamp.com, sign up for our free course, and you'll have access to this replay. Now, again, we've been hearing the term large language models a lot. So imagine, for those of us who are OGs, imagine if someone took the Encyclopedia Britannica and took all the information that was in there and then began to make the relationships between those things and then condensed it down to a set of formulas. That's kind of what these large language models are, which is why they take such powerful computers, and it's taken such billions and millions of dollars, and the controversy as well when we look at the fact that in some cases, these models have been trained on copyrighted material or just information that has been scraped off of the web, which leads us to some of the controversies that we've experienced even in just the past year since we first did this course. You know, last year in February, when we did the AI Toolbox Bootcamp number 1.0, there were many writers and artists and folks who were so excited about these capabilities, but there was a growing fear and concern. And we saw that play out most substantially with the Writers Guild, the Screen Actors Guild, and the Directors Guild negotiations of their contracts. All of those contracts, and in some cases, they were preceded by strikes. All of those contracts had new language that was added related directly to AI and how artificial intelligence, the role that it could play in filmmaking and television production, even as recently as this week at the Consumer Electronics Show here in Las Vegas, there were deals that were done for actors for their voices. So think about it like this. If I was an actor and I went to a film shoot and they digitized me, or even if they only have to digitize, we can take old film footage from a person and create a digital model, just like we see on this page. This model will represent the visuals and the voice and the characteristics of that person. And so now we have the ability to make avatars and 3D models, just like you saw in the dance video. I want to play the dance video again because I want you to notice this time watching that version of me speaking in the beginning of the video was an avatar that was created using a tool that we're going to take a look at in just a minute called HeyGen. With HeyGen, I was able to digitize 2 minutes of myself speaking on video and create a digital avatar that I can now go in and type anything I needed to say, and it will make the video. So watch this video one more time again, and it's just the close-up at the beginning. Yes, that was me doing the OG pop locking. But at the beginning where you see me speaking, we did not film that. That is an avatar that was synthesized using artificial intelligence, specifically a type of artificial intelligence called generative AI. So I'm going to play this video again, and then we're going to do our first little project to where you can go to HeyGen right now and begin experimenting with it as well. All right, here we go. Amaya, Lou too. Can you guys come up with some cost-effective ways for us to promote the AI Toolbox Bootcamp training course?
Good afternoon, OG. Yes, statistically, you stand a better chance.
So just that little piece right there was created using this tool over here called, in fact, you can go to heygen.com. That is heygen.com, just like it sounds. And let me pull it up over here, and I'm going to show this. So again, this is an interactive training course. As we're mentioning and speaking on some of these things, and particularly in this overview, we want to encourage you to go check it out. So go visit heygen.com and you can log in with your Gmail. And when you do, you have an opportunity to experiment with some credits. But what I just showed you now was the capability called Instant Avatar. And again, we're jumping forward because many of our basic concepts on ChatGPT, large language model, many of these concepts we've already covered in AI Toolbox Bootcamp 1.0 and 2.0. So all of those video lessons are currently available to anyone who signs up for our new training center. But just to give you this example, HeyGen has pre-made avatars like this that you can use. But if you click this one right here, okay, now again, I mentioned about the difference. I mentioned about the difference between the paid and the free services. 1 second. This is what this capability is, one of the ones that come with the paid service. So again, if we went through the whole process, we'd be able to walk through here, we'd upload a video, we can either record it with our phone or webcam. The idea, the key thing is though, is that we have to be well lit, we have to restrict our movements beneath our face, and have to have at least 2 minutes of audio. When I did that, I was able to go through the process. So again, I'm showing this to show how quickly these tools have evolved. This was not possible 6 months ago. So now if we come back though, if we reel it back, because I know some people are still saying, well, hey, I'm still kind of just getting used to the idea of this chat thing. I haven't signed up for any chat yet. I don't want to pay for anything. I don't really kind of trust, any of these services yet. How can I quickly get started on chat without investing a lot of time or money? Well, the easiest way right about now to start using AI with the least learning curve is through Bing, actually. Yes, the old search engine that none of us used anymore until it went to AI. So if you go to bing.com/chat, you'll be exposed to a chat window, and it takes a moment for it to load. Okay, so now here we are, bing.com, chat with GPT-4. Now, again, this is one of the free tools that we can use as an alternative to ChatGPT. So you get capabilities here with Bing for free, some of which you get with the paid version of ChatGPT. The disadvantage here is everything that we do here with Bing on the free version, we're helping train the AI using our own data. Now, this brings us up to another one of the big differences between the free AI tools and the paid tools. Using the paid tools, most often we have the capabilities to opt out so that none of the information that we put in about ourselves or our companies or businesses or ideas are used to train the larger language models. So again, I'm going to say that carefully. When we are using these AI tools, and particularly these free AI tools, we are helping train large language models, just like we talked about. This is because the AI needs human verification in the whole loop. Every time that we generate something on AI and we put a thumbs up or thumbs down, we're telling the model how well it is done delivering the command that we just gave it. So let's say right now, though, you haven't done anything on ChatGPT. You haven't used AI at all, and you want to start messing with it. Well, you can come on over here to bing.com, and we can just type a topic. Ask me anything. I'm going to ask Bing, what is AI? Because here's another thing. These chat interfaces that we're using for the AI, they are based on their power of the capability of the large language models are based on how well this AI is predicting our next letter, our next character, and our next word. So with that said, as we're typing these things into the chat interface, it's already starting to work. So if I misspell something, it's going to use its reasoning to estimate. But so I'll just type for now, what is AI? And let's see what Bing is going to tell us about what AI is. Artificial intelligence refers to computer systems capable of performing complex tasks that historically only humans can do, such as reasoning, making decisions, and problem solving. Now, The reasoning part is very controversial, and this is all continuing. And again, as we get into this, is a preview of the AI Toolbox Bootcamp. We are intentionally touching on things and moving very quickly horizontally to give you an idea of some of the many things that we're going to explore much more substantially over the next 6 weeks. But one of the concepts that we're going to talk about is an emerging concept called artificial general intelligence. This is when the AI has become advanced enough that it can come up with ideas and concepts outside of what the humans have programmed into it. But it's a controversial concept, and we'll talk about that more. But even with this Bing right here, you can right now start chatting and using AI. You also have the ability to generate images and photos. When we look back at 2023 and we see about what helped AI go mainstream, it was multiple things. It was people being so impressed about how the artificial intelligence was able to come up with words and concepts, whether it was a poem, a recipe, a blog post, an essay. We all love the generative AI text ability. Then the generative AI images began coming about. This means that now the large language models are not only able to deal with text, but now they are what we call multi-language models. Large multi-models. So that means that it can deal with audio, it can deal with images. So when we look at ChatGPT last year, it was all about the text. This year, on the paid version, we can not only create images with ChatGPT, but we can also use computer vision to read those images. So now, this is where we're going to come out of the world of freebies, and we're going to go over here to the paid version of ChatGPT. Okay, how do you find the paid version of ChatGPT? We have to speak on this because there's so many hustlers out here. There's so many scammers. There are people who are out here who are spoofing the actual OpenAI and ChatGPT tools. So if you want to make sure that you're signing up for the correct ChatGPT, the legitimate one, which is from the company OpenAI, you want to go to chat.openai.com. That's chat.openai.com. Now, your version may look a little bit different because the free version, as I said, does not have some of these capabilities. What are these capabilities that we can do here in this paid version? Well, as I mentioned, first of all, we have the ability to come down here and customize under settings. We have the ability here to control our data. And again, export our data, delete our data, do all sorts of other things that we didn't have the capabilities to do with the free version. But even more substantially, and again, this is talking about the paid version. So the regular 3.5 version of ChatGPT does not allow us to customize the capabilities beyond a certain point. With this paid version of ChatGPT here, not only can we come over and benefit from tapping them immediately into in the AI. And so if you haven't set up your account, please go to chat.openai.com. That's chat.openai.com. And it's going to ask you for a telephone verification. We always encourage people to use a Gmail or a Google Workspace email when setting up these accounts. In fact, Gmail and Google Workspace and the capabilities, including the Google Slides, Google Presentation, all of these are a critical part of our basic AI toolbox, because at this point in time, Google is starting to integrate AI all through that ecosystem. Just like we can see the same for Microsoft 365 and other platforms. All of our most common tools are now starting to integrate AI into them. So whether it's Zoom, whether it's Canva, whether it's WordPress, most of these are integrating using the ChatGPT API. The API is the means by which we can create apps and websites and other things that can then communicate with the ChatGPT. So when you see that Zoom offers the ability for us to have real-time transcriptions and real-time translations, and other things, it's usually tapping into either their own GPT or a GPT such as this here. Dear, you have any questions or anything so far? We see any other questions?
The chat is currently clear.
All right, cool. Okay, so again, we talked about Bing, we talked about OpenAI and ChatGPT. Now, power users of the AI Toolbox Bootcamp are going to learn another capability that has only gone mainstream in the past couple of weeks, and that is what we call custom GPTs. Now, GPT, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. That is GPT, Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So that means that this Chat GPT here has been pre-trained using volumes of data, and that data has a cutoff date. It's usually a few months behind. So let's say, for example, that this Chat GPT cutoff date data was December of last year. It will not necessarily know key events that have happened in the time that has transpired. One of the most powerful capabilities now available in ChatGPT is our ability to make these custom GPTs. And now this is when we're taking the general knowledge of the large language model and the ChatGPT, and we're now adding our own proprietary custom information in order to make the GPT do even specialized features. Now, why people are so excited about this means that someone in an HR department can take all of their employee manuals and their training and other things, and they can craft a version of AI specifically to address matters within their department. So to give you an example, we created a series of GPTs over custom GPTs, and this was our first one. And you can find this in the GPT store. It's called Interview Me. So based upon my 20 plus years as a documentarian, I've done more than 300 interviews over these years. And there's a certain approaches and knowledge and things that have been gained over that time. With this GPT here, I took the general knowledge of ChatGPT and I made a GPT that interviews people to help pull information out of their heads, whether it's a story, whether it's life knowledge or other things like that. And I'll give an example of it. And Shatar, do you want, actually, I'll just go ahead and do it like this. Okay, so it's going to ask me a series of questions here. And again, I spent 2 years trying to make an app that would allow me to do this exact thing. Thank you so much, appreciate it. I spent 2 years trying to make an app that would allow me to do this same thing. The ability to autonomously conduct interviews. Hey, you guys, check this out. This GPT that I made right here, I made in 4 hours. And it has more capabilities than I even imagined for the app. Right now, they can enter some information. You can prompt it to ask about your business, your life history, your family history, etc. And then it will guide you through these questions, take your answers, and you can download these responses. How amazing is that? Well, as a member of the AI Toolbox Bootcamp, you're going to learn how to make GPTs just like this, but you're also going to learn how to make custom apps, full-on apps. And I'll give you an example here. Actually, we'll go to this one here. No, this one. Okay. And again, you guys, this is a horizontal overview. Everything that we're mentioning right now, we're going to go so much more deeper in the AI Toolbox Bootcamp. But let's say right now that you have an immediate need to generate a customized app for your own internal use, for yourself or your business or organization. And again, these apps did not exist a few months ago, but this one right here, picoapps.xyz. Visit right now. You can go visit picoapps.xyz. picoapps.xyz. Now, here's what this allows. It takes the generative AI capabilities over here and it specializes it on code development. So now we have the ability to do text to app. So right now, these are micro apps, meaning that they may not be able to have a huge database or complex interaction, but I will give you an example of a micro app that I made in just a couple of hours. And again, you can go visit right now and experiment with Pico apps. And so this app right here, 21 questions. So again, remember I told you I was on my quest to make these apps. So 21 questions is an interview app, and it will allow us to enter a topic. Let's say I say hip hop, and I'll enter a time period, 1986, since we just finished celebrating the, okay, I'll do 1977 to 2000. Whoops. So what this app will do is it's going to generate just 21 questions on things that happen in that time period. I'm looking at these screens. Okay, here we go. 1977 to 2000. Okay. So I made this app in Pico apps in about 45 minutes. So what it's doing is it's now going through and it's looking at historical things that happened between 1977 and the year 2000 related to hip hop. And it's making me 21 questions. So again, all right, can you explain how the DJ technique known as scratch? I mean, look at this. We have the ability to sit down with anyone and enter just a little bit of information and begin interviewing them more contextually. How dope is that?
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the fact that you created this app in 45 minutes, and look at the usefulness of this. And it's generating 21 questions, 21 real world questions that people can use right away. Amazing.
And again, you know, I can go back in and iterate this app further. And so how this was made using the Pico apps was through a series of iterations. You start off with a general idea, and then you guide the app through more prompts, more specifically. They also now have a tool that allows us, check this out. I could draw a picture of the interface and put that picture in there, and this tool will help design the interface. You know, so again, we're showing you guys capabilities. We're showing you the range of capabilities. So now, again, hopefully you've bookmarked this one, picoapps.xyz. But what do I do with that app? So Pico Apps in itself, they gave me a URL that I could send people to that URL, but it's branded with Pico. They also gave me the ability to embed that app in the exact same way that we do a video. I was able to take that Pico app and embed that into just as a standard web page. So now we can create custom apps and we can drop them on our existing websites, our existing blogs, and things like that. And these can be apps such as you saw there, but you can also create your own custom chatbots. So what can a custom chatbot do for you on your business? Well, it can have the ability to answer questions for users. It can have the ability to book appointments. It can have the ability to direct people to products and close sales. You can create a custom chatbot just like that right here with picoapps.xyz. Now, there's also even more capable tools. Let's say I don't want just a simple app. Now I want to make a website. I need a website that is customized for what I am building right now. Hey, check this website out. Come on over to Softr, softr.io, softr.io. Now, as opposed to simply explaining how we're going to make our apps, we can explain a whole website. We can create a directory, a membership platform, an e-learning course, or anything beyond our current imagination in the exact same format as with the Pico apps. So while Pico apps was for little micro apps, Softr is for bigger websites and SaaS platforms and things like that. And so again, you guys, we're going to cover this by the end of the AI Toolbox Bootcamp 6-week training course. You're going to have used Softr to have made a website or a custom app. You're going to have used Pico apps. Now, our broad discussion here is on AI versus automation. What's the difference between AI and automation? Well, AI is going to involve data and decisions and reasoning and more complex thinking. But there's certain times in life where we just need to do routine processes. Sometimes we need to do something like take a 10,000 sheet Google Doc or Google Sheets and take that data and turn it into something else or make it power something else. Well, this is where we use some of these specialized automation tools. The first one being Zapier. Zapier will allow us to do things like connect our WordPress website to our Instagram and to our Shopify. So Zapier is an automation tool that connects to tens of thousands of existing programs. And it allows us to take routine tasks within any of these programs and automate them, meaning that we can set up a series of decisions or scenarios that by which the data from one program can go to another program. This is now allowing us, and here's why we bring up Zapier right now. It is integrated with nearly every major tool, from Salesforce to to ChatGPT. It's integrated with every major tool we're already using, while concurrently being integrated with OpenAI. So you see this where they say, try our ChatGPT integration. Using something like Zapier, you can even go to any of your old blogger accounts, your LinkedIn. You can take existing content that you've created and pull it from other sources, pass it through the AI, and push it right back out. Now, I'm going to give you guys an example, show you an example of where we have done that. Make is one of Zapier's competitors. When last year, while working on the multiple projects in the lab, we discovered how using make.com, we had the ability to generate t-shirts, mugs, sweatshirts, hoodies, a variety of materials simply by entering the keyword. Let me say that again, what I'm saying. Using make.com to automate our production processes for our merchandise, we've been able to automatically create canvases, socks, backpacks, hoodies. And here's how this works. We set up a scenario that connects things kind of like this. Let's see, come to the scenarios here. Okay, so let's say I want to make a t-shirt, Rastafarian t-shirt or a reggae music t-shirt. Or let's say backpack, since I'm on the scenario. We have the ability here to generate an image using one AI source, and that AI source may be ChatGPT, it may be Midjourney, it may be any of the other AI platforms. We have the ability to take a keyword, generate an image, automatically remove the background from that image, automatically upscale the image, and then push the image to our print-on-demand provider, and then push the final product out to our Shopify, and then have it automatically listed on Amazon or Etsy. That is automation. It is the process of taking, now just last year, when Shatara and I first started creating some of these AI books and products and things like this, it was a manual process. We would sit there on Midjourney and we would create our images, then download those images, then upload them to another program, Advanced AI or some of these other ones, to upscale them. Then we would have to manually remove the background, then manually up-res that, send that to our print-on-demand provider, and then manually send it to the Shopify. This, through automation, this process has been completely automated. We have the ability, you'll see, just looking at one of these scenarios here, that this incorporates Clip Drop, which we use for background removal, OpenAI, which we use to generate the image, Printify, which we use for print on demand, and Shopify. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm saying we have the ability to autonomously, through combining AI and automation, generate thousands of products while we sleep. Now, will all of these be good products? No, by no means. This is where we can talk about our role now in AI. For those of us who spent decades learning how to be creators, maybe we were creators of books, maybe we were creators of movies or songs. Our job in this world of autonomous AI is now we are selectors, we are DJs, we are aggregators, we are curators of the best. Every time that I go in and make 100 AI images, I have to then go pick the best of them to push further down the line. So again, this is the human role is changing. So I'm not a content creator the same. I'm not coming up with ideas in my head, going to pen and paper, hiring artists, hiring videographers. It's a whole new process that we have now. And that's so now this brings us back to another thing about the AI Toolbox Bootcamp. It's not simply a matter of knowing these tools. It's the processes and the connections between the tools that bring us the most powerful situations for AI, for automation, and for us as human curators. Before I move on, Shatara, are there any other questions there?
There are no additional questions at this time. There is one comment. This is so great and informational, from Catherine.
Thank you, Catherine. We appreciate it. And again, we're covering a wide cross section of things in order to paint a bigger picture, but in the 6 weeks ahead, we're going to dive into these so much more substantially, because our goal is to recreate, basically, we are training the next generation of trainers, the next generation of experts, the next generation of consultants, because any number of one of these tools, any of these tools can empower a whole agency. There are agencies that are built strictly on making automation sequences, just like this one. There are agencies that are built on making and selling chatbots to help businesses, just like here. So our goal is to provide you with a legitimate toolbox, a range, so that then as the opportunities present themselves, you can go in and choose. I tell the OG folks, I say, yeah, when we were kids, we had the 8 color crayons, but these dudes over here had the 256 crayons. Now we're teaching you guys the 16 million color crayons. We're teaching you a cross section of tools in order to do amazing things. Now, one of these other ones that has become my power tool in this past year is this one right here called Runway. When we look at Adobe Suite and Adobe Creative Suite, and I joke with my son and say, hey, son, when Adobe comes up on the screen and it says copyright 1991 to 2024, I've been using it that whole time. Legitimately, when it was in beta, I was using Adobe. Big fan of Adobe Creative Suite and all the powers that it offers us. But there's 2 companies that we're going to teach you how to use in the AI Toolbox Bootcamp that are the next contenders for Adobe. One of them is this one right here, Runway ML. And again, go set up your account now, runwayml.com. And just to clarify, we do not receive any commissions for any of these that we're pushing. Now, we may set up a tool guide or something like that at some point, but no, anyone who's a member of our course, we're teaching you the tools that we've used and that are a part of our toolbox. If someone pops up and wants to sponsor something, we will declare that clearly. But right now, we're just showing you what we are using routinely. Runway ML is one of these tools that we're using routinely. If you have seen our project, Paper Chasers AI, you can see it at paperchasers.ai. That's paperchasers.ai. Paper Chasers AI is a music video. It's a musical short film. It's about 8.5 minutes long. It took me 7.5 weeks to make. But here's the thing: when you watch Paper Chasers AI, I want you to keep in mind every voice that you hear, every sound, every image, and every visual I made by myself.
Can you please elaborate on that? Because that is absolutely amazing how that's done. When you say every voice and every image, can you please just elaborate perhaps some of the initial steps so that they, as curators, have an idea of how to replicate the process?
Yes, thank you, dear. So yes. So if you want to see the full film, you can go to paperchasersai.com. I'm going to play some of it. We won't hear too much, but y'all play a little bit of it. And it's taking a second to load.
And we have beautiful visuals. Although we don't have audio, we can see the transitions in the video, as well as some
Okay.
idea.
Okay. So you don't hear any audio there?
Correct, correct.
Okay. Okay. Well, cool. So now I'll just talk over it a little bit then. Okay. So yeah. So the visuals that you're seeing here, every visual that was created here was created using generative AI. Now, the thing that this was, I started this project in October and I finished it in December. In just that time, new capabilities came about that would have made all of this so much easier, so much more high fidelity. You know, by the time it was all said and done, I used about 20 something different tools. These tools include the tools to generate the soundtrack, the voices, the still images, then to turn those still images into animations, other tools to do these filters for the special effects, other tools to make sound effects, even more tools in order to do the audio mixing and the mastering. You know, and so again, this video is available and you can see it with the audio at paperchasers.ai. Again, Runway ML was my critical tool for this particular project. Let's see a second here. Okay, so basically, Runway is a suite of tools that combines about 30 different individual tools. Let's see, where is it here? And some of these tools are the best of the best, you guys. When you look at the dance video, or when you look at any of our recent videos, the green screen removal that we've done in Runway is so specific that it can pick up an object and pass it behind, and there's no better green screen removal that you will find than this one right here. But they also have great tools for cleaning up audio. But the ones that are so exciting, you see this one right down here, where we say start with text. This is our ability to use generative AI to turn text directly into videos. Now, we can turn words into videos, or we can optionally attach images here and turn them into videos as well. So if I type a snow border on a volcano, just randomly. Now, again, there's parameters down here that we could change that will impact the speed, the camera motion, and other things. This is where our power training comes in. It is within the settings and the options that we choose here that are going to help decide the quality of our output and how accurate it is according to our prompt. While this is generating, though, let's just talk about the word prompt for a minute and how prompting, the relationship between AI and prompting. We talked about the large language models and about how these were trained on huge volumes of data and about how that data gets locked in for certain capabilities. Prompting is our ability to use words that direct the outcome of the generative AI. Prompting is our ability to use words and parameters to direct the outcome of the AI. So in this case, the prompt was a snowboarder on a volcano. that was sent to the large language generative model, it took those words using a technique called parsing, and it broke those words down. And now the large language model is back there processing this information, trying to generate some sort of picture for me. So it's at about 66%, going up to 70%. Now, here's the thing. Just like when we generate images, this process can be so time consuming because one single little word, one punctuation can generate a completely different outcome. Now, that's good when we need to see a range of outcome. But when we're doing projects like we did with Paper Chasers AI, where we want some sort of continuity or consistency of characters, then that's where we have to use a whole variety of other techniques, advanced techniques, in order to get continuity amongst the characters. Okay, so let's see what it's got here. Now, we could have done a free preview. Now, all of these AI tools that we're teaching, we mentioned earlier about the premium tools and about how there's a class difference between the free tools and the premium tools. Most of these tools are credit-based, meaning that for every image you generate, every video you generate, every song you generate, there's going to be a credit that's used. Or you can pay the higher amounts to get unlimited. We encourage people to start learning their skills with the credit-based system. But when you go to production, you're going to need the unlimited because there's just so much variance. Okay, so this was my keyboard command. Now I said a volcano, I said a snowboarder on a volcano, but I didn't give it any description. So I guess this could be a volcano that's frozen. But anyway, these few 4 seconds, second by second, is how I made the Paper Chasers AI Paper Chasers AI music video. It was literally going 4 seconds by 4 seconds. Within Runway, we have the ability, when we find something that we like, we click extend, and it will give us another little variation of it. But we are making our animated projects pretty much like the old school folks did. Frames, 24 to 30 frames per second, seconds, minutes. Now, by this time next year, do we expect that we'll be able to make complete scenes? Yes, the generative AI has advanced just from the time when Shatara and I taught the course last year. There was no text to video in the mainstream when we did this last year, was there? In fact, to give an illustration of the differences, I'm going to play some of our Life of Lewis Latimer documentary. Now, again, you guys keep in mind, when we did this project last February, every tool that we're showing you was not at the state that it is right now. All of these tools have advanced so substantially. Now, this is a longer clip. This is a 9-minute clip. I am going to go ahead and play the full thing so we can take any questions. But if you have to jump off, or if you want to find out more information, you can visit us at AIToolboxBootcamp.com. That's AIToolboxBootcamp.com. If you know you're ready to sign up already for the AI Toolbox website bootcamp training program, you can visit us at AIMediamakers.com. AIMediamakers.com. This clip that we're showing is the Life of Lewis Latimer. It is a documentary on inventor and engineer Lewis Latimer that Shatara and I created last February. As we approach the 1-year anniversary, we are already improving the visuals, high def, improving the sounds, but we're going to show you what you had just to give you an idea.
God bless, God bless, God bless, God bless.
Yo, on one baby, born in California from the 303. Suburban background cul-de-sac, house was red and green. Frosted flakes, walks to school were part of his daily routine. Real short distance.
Good morning, OG Max. Your heart rate is elevated. Shall I record a workout?
Based on historical data, he is either pacing, puffing, or pondering at this time of the morning.
Yes, I'm just pacing. So first of all, you guys, congratulations. Our first video has been received tremendously. We have so many queries and and questions coming in.
Yes, searches for AI Toolbox Bootcamp have risen by 357%.
I'm very excited.
Run all systems and task checks. 100 all is good OG Max. What is on your mind?
Well, what's on my mind is I've been having this idea about trying to do some sort of Black History Month tribute, featuring all of these amazing AI technologies, integrating them to tell some sort of story, and I just can't decide on which story to tell.
Perhaps this is a good time for the Dr. Maxie T. Collier Tribute Project?
Yes, absolutely, Amaya. I thought about doing a documentary on my dad.
Dr. Maxie T. Collier. I am proud to share the legacy of Dr. Maxie T. Collier, psychiatrist, public health administrator, among the first Black graduates of Vanderbilt University, the first African-American health commissioner of Baltimore. Born March 30, 1945, sunset April 22, 1994. Shall we begin on this now?
No, I need that documentary on my father we need more time than what I can do right now.
What do you have in mind?
Well, there's all sorts of folks who are always getting attention during Black History Month.
Harriet Tubman.
Frederick Douglass?
I want someone that's lesser known.
George Washington Carver?
Zora Neale Hurston. Oscar Michaud.
Fannie Lou Hamer?
How about Lewis Latimer?
Lewis Latimer, born September 4th, 1848 in Chelsea, Massachusetts.
Of course. Latimer.
Latimer is here.
Perfect. Yes. Latimer. Let's do a little documentary about your namesake.
Lewis H. Latimer, inventor and engineer.
Yes, Lewis H. Latimer.
Loading.
Meanwhile, Amaya, can you pull up a few points of information on Lewis Latimer?
Preparing documentary assets now.
Wonderful. Okay, Lou 2, meanwhile, you put together a little quiz, a little game, or some interactive activities.
On it.
All right, so that's our plan. We'll put together a documentary called The Light of Lewis Latimer. No. Okay. Long live Lewis Latimer.
Maybe.
Okay. Lewis Latimer, engineer, inventor.
Perhaps we could try something else.
Okay, we'll come up with the title, you guys. But that's the idea. We're going to tell the story of Lewis H. Latimer, the namesake for our Latimer search engine.
Yes, that would be most appropriate.
Lewis H. Latimer was a highly skilled inventor and engineer.
Lewis Latimer was among my most trusted collaborators.
Yes, Lewis Latimer.
I'm Lewis Latimer, inventor, engineer, and an all-around creative mind. Allow me to share with you some of the exciting stories of my life and the challenges I faced.
Born in 1848 in Chelsea, Massachusetts, Latimer was the youngest of 4 children, parents who had escaped slavery in Virginia and sought refuge in Massachusetts.
My journey wasn't easy. I faced many challenges, including being born into poverty and facing racial discrimination. But I never let that get me down. I used my education and creativity to rise above it all.
Latimer joined the U.S. Navy at the age of 16 and served as a landsman during the Civil War. After his discharge, he began working as an office boy in a patent law firm where he honed his skills in drafting and sketching. He quickly rose through the ranks and became the firm's head draftsman, earning $20 per week.
And then there was a time I worked with Alexander Graham Bell.
Hey yo. Bro, can you hear me now? Okay, bet.
We're on a mission to bring the world of telecommunications to new heights.
Yes, Lewis Latimer. LL and I were young men. I was just 29. That day, we rushed to file my patent for the telephone. We had to make haste, cause that sneak Gray was trying to beat us. But thanks to Liu, we made it.
It was a partnership that would change the world forever.
He worked alongside Alexander Graham Bell, Hiram Maxim, and Thomas Edison, developing and improving upon electric filament manufacturing techniques.
Lewis Latimer was among my most trusted collaborators. His genius works helped me create a light bulb that lasted longer than any others before it.
I also had the honor of working with Thomas Edison. We worked together on various projects, and he taught me a great deal about the field of electrical engineering.
Lewis also helped set up electric lighting systems in cities across the country and around the world.
I led a team of engineers to design and build a new system for the street lighting.
He received several patents for his inventions.
It was the year 1881, and I was defending my patent for an improved electric lamp filament. It was a grueling process, but I was determined to protect my invention, and I succeeded.
He was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame for his groundbreaking work.
I was a lecturer and an activist. I used my platform to educate others about the importance of science and technology, and I fought for the rights of people of color.
Latimer passed away in 1928 at the age of 80, leaving behind a legacy of innovation and determination that continues to inspire others to this day.
Imagine what it was like for Lewis Latimer to help bring lights and electricity to cities for the first time ever. That is a true pioneer, a trailblazer who still impacts our lives decades later.
The work that Lewis Latimer conducted as an inventor and engineer makes it possible for future engineers, like me, to explore new worlds in science and technology. Thank you, Mr. Latimer.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis Latimer, for overcoming life's challenges and blazing so many trails in science, technology, and social activism.
Thank you, my friend.
Life has its challenges, but I learned that it's how you respond to them that defines you. Don't let anything stand in your way, and never stop chasing your dreams. That's what I did, and it led me to a life filled with excitement and impact. Who knows what you'll achieve if you follow in my footsteps.
Great work, team. I think we effectively demonstrated some of these tools.
Good work, guys.
You as well. Go team.
Thank you, Mr. Latimer.
3, 2, 1, roll credits.
Beatmaker, a very unique combo. Appreciate and seize the day like there's no tomorrow. Creative at heart, storytelling's a part of my DNA. In my blood to paint clear pictures of the things I say. Come from a family of creatives, that makes me an instant native. I can be very persuasive but keep to myself, non-invasive. Computer on, MIC, with Haley songs on repeat. Work hard, grind, sit on my feet. Make my own choices, I'm a king. Ayy. Make my own choices, I'm a king.
I want to thank everyone who was patient through the 9 minutes, but I wanted you all to see it because I'm so excited about the updates that we're able to do with this now. Even last year, we were using the AI in order to create 360-degree visual images, virtual images. Yes, we use the AI to create 360 virtual images, and that was last year. That was Midjourney version 3, I believe. Now we're on Midjourney version 6. And just to give a context, Midjourney is a high-end AI art tool that you learn how to use as part of the AI Toolbox Bootcamp. And I know we're coming up on our time to start wrapping up, but I'm going to go ahead and bring up, just in case Jason has a question. Rose, I'll bring you up if you want to say anything. If not, no problem. And Catherine, I'll bring you up too. But just to give folks this is an overview of the AI Toolbox Bootcamp 2.0 course. When you sign up for our brand new course, the AI Toolbox 3.0, you get immediate access to all the hours of our video content in here. So you are going to learn a foundation way more substantially about large language models, ChatGPT, OpenAI, and all these tools that we talk about all the time. And so in addition, we are going to have weekly meetings during our 6 weeks where we can take any of your questions, any of your issues, because our number one goal is by the time we complete the 6 weeks training, starting next Sunday, 6 weeks from next Sunday, by the completion of that, we want every person who's taking this training course to have come up with some project, some portfolio piece that demonstrates their capabilities. So every week, we're going to be doing new parts of your project while teaching you these new tools. We're going to go way more substantial into automation and into AI, machine learning, automation, the theories, but every week is going to be a new project. And these projects are going to put to practice these ideas. And at the end of those 6 weeks, you're going to know so many more new skills, and you're going to have showcase works. These are going to help anyone who's looking for a new job, who's looking to start an agency, who's looking to reskill and expand their capabilities. So right now, this week, for the next week, we're doing a 2-for-1 registration at the AI Toolbox Bootcamp, where normal price is $19.97. That's $19.97. That includes the 6 weeks of training, the video on demand library, a whole bunch of templates, custom GPTs, and individual coaching on your projects as necessary. So with this 2-for-1, we're looking to have people buddy up and partner in order to have someone else in here. Now, if you're a nonprofit organization or a small business, we also have a small group training plan where we'll put up to 4 of you together in a private group for custom training. This allows us to help tailor the training even more to your specific individual needs. So, dear, before we wrap up, to access this page, it is aitoolboxbootcamp.com/sign-up. aitoolboxbootcamp.com/sign-up. Dear, you have any questions or thoughts before we start to wrap up out of here?
I absolutely do. Thank you so much for sharing about the different categories of people's interaction with AI, some who may not be using it at all, some who may know what it is or who dabble with it as a hobby, some who use it regularly, and then some who've already incorporated it into their business operations. Regardless of where the person is in their interaction and experience with AI, Maxi knows all of these advanced tools to really help the process, even taking prompting, for example. He explained what the prompt is by showing that text to video prompt, but he has so many advanced techniques of how to adjust the prompts effectively and efficiently to get the results that you want from the beginning, so that you don't have to experiment and try many different prompts. He can tell you which commas and adjectives and adverbs and things to incorporate into the prompt to get the results and save quite a bit of time. And that's my experience, so I'm sharing it with you.
Well, thank you for mentioning that, dear, because you're right. We do have a prompt library that we will be adding any examples of our work that you see. We'll give you the prompts. And not only that, though, we'll give you the Canva files, the Adobe files. We want you to reverse engineer the work that we've done. And here's the thing, any animation that I've made, I know that there's someone out there who has studied animation, who loves animation, who's passionate about it way more than me. So when I teach these tools, you're going to take it even further. And that's what we want. They call the basic assets of AI foundational models. These are the foundation models. They form the basis. Well, we are in the foundation era for artificial intelligence in general. And before we log off, I have to put this in a particular context. I got to say, one, big shout out to all my brothers and sisters, my siblings. I have 7 brothers and sisters. But I want to shout out my brother, Zay Trario Collier, because it was in 1981 when I was in middle school and Zay was in elementary school that we first got introduced to personal computers. Let me say again, 43 years ago, 1981 is when my fingers first touched a personal computer. I was learning how to program computers by typing programs in out of magazines. One of these programs was called Eliza. Eliza. Eliza was a simulated psychotherapist where we could type words and Eliza will respond back to us, something we call natural language processing. So yes, I have been working with natural language processing and the concepts of AI for 4 decades. So as these tools have rolled out, that's why I pounced on them, because I've envisioned them and dreamed about them for such a long time. When my son, Jason, right there, was born in 2001, I wrote a book that year called Shorty Max and His Incredible Movie Making Machine. Shorty Max was a little boy inventor who was trying to make a movie with his friends and he got frustrated. So he invented a machine that would allow him to type scripts and make movies. So we're living in my sci-fi fantasy of multiple decades. So the passion that you hear, the projects that you see, it's a culmination. And along the way in those 4 decades, I've worked in broadcast television, independent filmmaking, self-publishing. You know, you can see my documentary Paper Chasers, you know, the paperchasers.tv. But what's happening right now is I'm able to combine all of these media that I've worked in for so long with my passion for computers and have my output go up by 100x. Since Shatar and I started this AI adventure, you know, pretty much 3 years ago, our earliest AI works were turning standard def video, taking old archival photos and videos, and using the AI to turn them to amazing high quality images. So now as a documentarian, I was able to go back in my archives, take 20-year-old video footage and turn it to 4K. Well, that was 3 years ago when we started that. In 2022, we released Hip Hop AI, one of the first graphic novels, a memoir of my life that combined telling my history of computers and hip hop. You can find that on Amazon at hiphopai.co. You know, so we've been applying AI and applying computers towards media production, towards entrepreneurship, towards arts, and towards e-learning for several years now. So we're inviting you to come learn from us, and we're inviting you to be a part of our cohort, because there are folks who took our training course last year who got new jobs, who started new businesses. In fact, real quick, let me just play this testimonial because it does make me very happy, and I appreciate you getting this one, dear. Let's see here.
I wanted to just go ahead and send a quick testimonial about being a part of the AI Toolbox course. I can tell you that it was one of the most robust courses on AI that I've taken. I took so many notes, over 50 tools. What I really liked about the course was them teaching about the actual theory of AI, as well as the tools, the benefits, as well as things to consider when choosing your tools.
So again, that was just a quick testimonial from someone who took the AI Toolbox Bootcamp 1.0. Everything is advanced. Our skills have advanced, and we are so ready and eager to teach you. And we want to invite you to join us to sign up at aitoolboxbootcamp.com/sign-up. And if you have already signed up, we're excited to onboard you this week and to help you get started with our existing courses. And we'll be back live next week in our first private training session, aitoolboxbootcamp.com. So Jason, did you have any questions before we wrap up?
Not this time. You explained everything really well. You know your stuff, and it shows.
I didn't pay you to tell him. I didn't pay you to say that.
You didn't pay me. Yeah, he didn't pay me. Don't worry. He didn't pay me.
All right, so dear, you have any questions or comments?
I'm just so excited for the people who have signed up. I want to congratulate you on taking these next steps to help your businesses by incorporating these new AI tools. And we hope to continue to save you time by just starting with these systems and processes that are technologically advanced from the very beginning of this cohort.
Yes, it's gone way past pretty pictures now. So Dearwood, any comments, questions, any other thing?
Rose says amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose, and we look forward to communicating with you in the community. There's a lot of stuff there. Let us know if you have any issues. Thank you, Catherine, for hanging with us the whole time. Don't hesitate to email if you have any questions. If anyone has any questions, you can email info at superlivestreams. Actually, info at AIToolboxBootcamp.com. Info at AIToolboxBootcamp.com. All right. All right, cool. Thank you all. Appreciate everyone for your time and look forward to seeing who joins us in this new adventure with AI Toolbox Bootcamp. I'm Maxie Collier. We'll see you the next time.